The United States faces its own fiscal challenges. It's been living beyond its means for years, and the result is a massive federal deficit. On Wednesday, President Obama, emboldened by re-election, once again said the wealthy must pay higher taxes to generate more revenue. Sean Callebs reports.
As I've said before, I'm open to compromise and I'm open to new ideas.
But that flexibility has limits. President Obama says he is adamant there must be a tax cut for the backbone of the U.S. economy, the nation's middle class. And he's just as insistent that it's time for the top wage earners to start paying more in taxes.
I'm confident that folks of goodwill in both parties can make that happen.
Under the White House plan, individuals making more than $200,000 and families making more than $250,000 would face a tax increase to help pay down the deficit. But Republicans have made it clear they are prepared to fight a tax hike for the nation's affluent, the top 2%.
We are not going to hurt our economy and make job creation more difficult.
Washington is in a race against time, trying to avoid watching the U.S. economy plunge into the abyss that is called the fiscal cliff. Unless Democrats and Republicans can agree, a punishing mix of tax increases and dramatic cuts in government spending are scheduled to kick in January of 2013. Economists have issued dire warnings that the 1-2 punch could send the U.S. spiraling down into a recession again and pushing the jobless rate to more than 9%.
Well, obviously, we can all imagine a scenario where we go off the fiscal cliff, that there's too much stubbornness in Congress that we can't even agree on giving middle-class families a tax cut. Then middle-class families are all going to end up having a big tax hike.
The national debt stands at a whopping $16.5 trillion. Debt and the concern that it brings have helped push the New York Stock Exchange to a 3-month low. Polls show overwhelmingly that Americans want some kind of agreement to avoid the fiscal cliff. But those same surveys indicate they have little faith that Congress and the president will reach such an agreement.
And after his news conference today, the president sat down with 12 powerful CEOs from the private sector trying to sell them on his plan. And on Friday, the first time since re-election, the president will sit down with top Republicans and Democrats in the White House, trying to find a way within the next 7 weeks to keep the U.S. economy from falling off that fiscal cliff. Elaine?
Well, Sean, what's the bottom line here? What's the worst case scenario? How do you see this playing out?
Well, the worst case scenario is them not coming to any kind of agreement. And then without that, those automatic measures would kick in January of 2013. And you're talking about more than $600 billion in spending cuts and tax hikes. Tax hikes on everything from income, dividend, real estate, all across the board. So it would be very punishing, and you can't get away from what the economists are saying. If the United States does not find a way to deal with this problem, unemployment is going to soar. If you think it's bad now, they're talking about losing millions of jobs.
Well, Sean, you also mentioned President Obama's meeting with those CEOs after that news conference. Is there anything that actually came out of that meeting? Did they accomplish anything?
Yeah, I think the CEOs came out somewhat positive. They said that they really firmly believe that President Obama understands the situation and knows that something has to be done, that we can't just let the economy just plunge off the face of the earth. And what they think is, what the CEOs were saying is, look, some kind of tax hike is necessary to generate revenue to help pay off all the debt that has built up over the years.
Okay, Sean Callebs reporting from D.C. Thank you so much for that report.